Well, good morning, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, PDS Productivity Solutions. My name is Andy Osborne. I'm Director of Global Business Development for CA Experts, and I'm joined today by Stefan Bauer, who is Product Manager. From an agenda point of view, we're going to give this brief introduction. Then Stefan is going to deal with all of the productivity topics. We're going to go through spec quality, model replication, clash management reporting, and then we have some other tools which we're bundling together, the DGN PDF, ISO Overview, and PDS Admin Tool. We're then going to go through some licensing options, summarize that. We then want a little bit of feedback from you, and then we're going to answer any questions that you have as we've been going through. So please feel free to ask questions in the question panel. We will come to those at the end and answer as many as we can. The main purpose of this is really to refresh everybody's memory around what we have on the PDS side, as well as explain how we can make it easier to maximize the productivity for the remaining time that you are using PDS. So without any more comment, I'm going to hand over to Stefan, who will lead you through this. So Stefan, you should have control.
Thank you, Andy. And I switch direct to my PDS environment. Okay, starting with the first utility. It's about spec quality. This is the PDS Spec Manager. Okay, so when we talk about quality of specs and how to ensure the quality of specs, the ultimate test always is to place the parts in the 3D model. And this is what this Spec Manager is all about, placing parts in PDS. So the Spec Manager collects all the parts of all pipe classes in a project and tries to place that in PDS. So at first, okay, we have to extract the databases. So this is a background process that can be done up front. Then we can decide if we also want to have all possible flange options placed, and then at the end we press the start button. So, by the way, okay, this utility also can be scheduled overnight if you like. And so when the placement of all the elements of a pipe spec are finished in PDS, you get following result. Spec Manager automatically creates its own area in PDS. Then it creates a model per pipe spec. And in this model, you see all the placed parts from this pipe spec directly placed in PDS, in a PDS 3D model. Okay, at the end, when this work is done, you get a report out of it, and this report shows you the result, what components could not be placed. So in this case, okay, some piping in 26-inch could not be placed, and some flanges could not be placed. So with this information, you have to go back to your catalog, to your libraries, to your PCB files, correct this, rerun this, and at the end, so the goal is to have this report empty. So that means this utility takes away this time-consuming work of placing all the parts manually. What normally you have to do when you want to know about if a part is placeable, you have to place it. And this takes the pain away from those who are responsible for the specs. So this utility is definitely a big time saver. Another big time saver definitely is the next utility. It's copy, move, rotate. So from the name, you can see what the product does. So it started in the beginning with copying, with moving and rotating models. Meanwhile, we have a lot more function in this utility, which at the end automates all the processes that you definitely can manually do, but they are automated here mostly through Excel. So I don't want to here to show you all the options you have here, only the main options. So in this panel here, this is about the operations. This is all the possible operations you see here in the left view. In the right view, you see your models. So equipment models, for example, your PDS models, and your piping models, then raceway models. So all what you have to do here is to click on that, select the models you want to copy in this case, then you export them to Excel and open the Excel file. So in this case, what you can do here, I have one model from equipment, piping, and structural. You copy the designation. Over. Do your adjustments here. For example, I want to have area 2 here. So the system automatically creates, and I want to have a new model designation here. Here, 1, 2, 3. And okay, so these are a new area, these are new models. I save this back, I import this, and now the system starts to copy the models over. So you saw this is more than one discipline. We had one model from equipment, from piping, from structural. This works with all kind of models. So you can do that in one shot. At the end, you see here on the progress bar how this process proceeds. And based on this input in the Excel file, the models are created. And at the end of this process, the system gives back a report. And this report again is an Excel report, and you get a direct information about the status. Okay, copying of equipment, piping, and structural models are okay. So done in less than 1 minute. Okay, the next thing definitely is quite important operation method, the transforming of models and drawings. You see, okay, once when you have copied a model, you probably want to transform it. You want to bring it to a new place. This can be done here very easily. So in the active mode, or using Excel, in this case we can use the interactive mode. We can have following options. We can have a movement, a rotation, or a mirroring. The movement, okay, you only define a relative distance in this way. For the rotation, you define a center of rotation, and for the mirroring, you only define a point to mirror about, either vertically or horizontally. So the design volume coordinate system also is recognized. If you have one in your PDS project, you can set the values for it, and these values are recognized. So this is the next really big time saver here, automatic transformation of that models that you tick on. Also for drawings, you can transform. What means the transformation of drawing? Transformation of drawing means you can move the view information to the new place, and this is also very helpful in when you have copied the drawings, then you can move the drawing content to the right location. Okay, the next big thing is, once when you have copied and brought your new models to the new place, you probably want to edit attributes for the new models. The editing of attributes can be done either for piping, for equipment, or for raceway if necessary. Piping is definitely the most productive thing here. For piping, from here we have access to all PDS tables, 12, 34, 50 until 80. Then you configure your attributes you want to extract for each and every table. Then you export these attributes again into Excel. You edit this and you import the modified Excel file back again. So, for example, this also works for attributes like line ID and line number label, which are concatenated attributes. So by editing the single parts of these concatenated labels, automatically also the labels like line ID and line number label are updated. So also a very big time saver. One other thing is we also can change from here some internal things like site ID, partition number, model drawing index numbers, and so on. For example, if you have a workshare project and you want parts of this project bring back to another site or bring back to the master site or share on a satellite site, we also can do this with here by modifying the partition numbers, index numbers, and so on. Okay, for equipment, this is the same. We can easily export equipment attributes into Excel file, and you can modify the equipment attributes and bring it back afterwards very easily. For example, description, when you like, if you like, the equipment number, save it, modify it, save it back, and bring it back to the model. Okay, so these are, let's say, the main topics of this tool: copying, transforming, modifying data. There are much more, and if you are interested to have this more in detail, let us know. We can go through this utility in a more detailed way, if you like. Okay, copy, move, rotate, big time saver as well. The next big topic in a PDS project definitely are clashes. The Clash Manager, we developed this Clash Manager also for making this clash approval process more productive, more faster, more quicker. The first pain you have when you want to, or when you have to work with clashes, are definitely the generation of the envelope files. With this tool, this is the first part of the tool. It's called Envelope Builder and Interference Checker module. In here, you see your PDS project again in a tree view. All what you do here is to click on that areas, to click on that model you want to generate envelope files for. Then you decide, okay, so you want to generate the envelope files for the selected areas, and in the same run, automatically the interference checker, this is the standard intergraph interference checker, is running in the background. At first, maybe you want to know something about the status of your envelope files. You see, just by pressing a button, you can generate a report which says if the status of an envelope file is okay or not. Yellow means okay, the envelope file is there but not up to date. Not okay means the envelope file is not there at all. And this information you also get here in this model tree shown. Okay, so you select your models and press on the button, and a big problem always is when you run the envelope file generation in batch mode, then this process very often hangs because of broken models or corrupted elements in the model. Sometimes at some point this process stops. To avoid this, that the complete process stops, we built in this timeout trigger here. So you can define a time where when nothing happens on the model anymore, this envelope builder automatically jumps to the next model. So this ensures that at the end of this process you have a complete project or your selected areas processed. So all the problematic models are collected in a report file. Then you can go directly to this models can fix the problem, rerun the model, the envelope building process again, and definitely you have a result after the run with this utility. Okay. Once when this work of generation of envelope files and the interference checking is done, you can switch to your approval work. So what you are mainly interested in to do the approval work. Okay. When we open this approval manager, okay, the data are read out from the PDS project. All these clashes appear in a grid view. And you see you have here, okay, your clash, one clash, and here your other clash with complete description. You directly can see what elements are clashing with what element and have the complete information. You also can sort and order them. You can also approve or unapprove them by list if you like. So this is no problem. For a very effective approval of the model, approval of the clashes, we have here approval filter. So with this approval filter, you can set rules for example, approving the clashes. So there are different areas for models, for components, and other options. So here in this in this view, for example, you can select models where you want to automatically approve, want to have approved clashes. For example, let's assume you know definitely in this area this area or these models from this area you are not interested in, you can automatically approve them as false clashes, and you see automatically we have now automatically more approved clashes. So they are approved as false clashes. So coming to the components, so components for piping equipment and structural elements can be excluded, and at the third option you can use rules like approved clashes within the same line and model for piping, approved clashes within the same equipment for equipment, and some other rules that helps to bring down the number of false clashes very effectively. Because at the end, okay, you are only interested in the real clashes, and with these intelligent rules you can bring down the number of these false or unwanted clashes. And once when this work is done, setting the approval filter, so these clashes, the clashes remain, you really have to look at. So what are the options here to look at clashes, either in MicroStation or in Smart Plant Review? So I go for Smart Plant Review because this is definitely the better viewing module. And in Smart Plant Review, there is on the fly design review session created. So I just go for the background, and you see here your clash. You see a red component, you see a green component. These are the components from here red and green. And there is a clash view control. This is the clash view control from Clash Manager, and you can easily look and from different directions at your clash. So, and it always keeps the focus on the clash and helps the user really to judge the clash, and then at the end makes a decision: is this a real clash or is this a false clash? So you can approve it from here. Okay, this is a real clash. It must be resolved. The system automatically jumps to the next clash. And here, for example, if a clash is behind some objects, you also have the possibility to switch to option show clash only, or show in a wireframe mode. The rest is only shown in wireframe mode. Only the clash components are shown in a solid mode, and from here you can decide, okay, so this is a real clash. So you see in general how it works. So very effectively, so you get a very good impression about the clash, and from here you can do your work. So for example, let's assume you want to do you want to inform someone about this clash. You also have the possibility to create a PDF report very easily from here in a 2D PDF. So the system automatically takes snapshot from 4 different directions, and here the complete clash documentation is done. So this is a 2D PDF created on the fly, and you can use it for documentation or for sending out information on that. Okay, so when this work is done, you close the session and say, okay, you want to save the changes. From here, you can write back all the changes to PDS database. So this utility also works in a multi-user mode, so more than one user can work with the clashes, can write back the clashes to the PDS database. Okay, very effectively, very easy to use, very transparent, and makes the clash approval process much more easier. Okay, so coming to the next product, this is about reporting. Okay, reporting. So in general, for PDS, we have a PDS report adapter. Also, there is not so much to know, or not so much to know about the thing in the background, because this is more or less automatically done for you. All what you see is, okay, you have on the one side you have your disciplines, piping, equipment, structural. On the right side, again, you have your model tree for all the different disciplines. And okay, you set the option run the material data publisher. So this process automatically transfers the data from the DD schema in the MTO schema via the standard material data publisher, and generates the MTO. Okay, so out of this MTO schema, we generate an MDB file, and this MDB file at the end can be opened in the Universal Reporter or Application Reporter. So this again is a utility that can do much more than I can show you in this short period of time. But to keep it on the main focus, you see, we have here a piping table, for example. We have here all our attributes here, and by clicking on these attributes are in this grid view. This grid view can be exported very easily to into Excel based on a template, which you can also create from here. So this is a template, just the Excel template, very easy to create. And when I create the report directly out from here, you see you instantly get a report out of from your PDS data. Very straightforward process, very flexible as well from a point of creating the template files for creating this kind of reports. Not a big deal. And so just to show you this process of creating reports through PDS Report Adapter and Universal Reporter. So besides that, we also have some other products. These are the products like DGN to PDF. So you see from here, from the name of this product, what it does. It connects again to a PDS project. In this PDS project you can have drawings, you can have ISOs, and these ISOs and drawings are automatically converted to into PDF files. So not a big deal. Directly from here you can generate PDF files. You also have an option here of monitoring complete directories. So rescan, for example, is done every second, and automatically then the PDF file is generated from here. Also very easy to use utility. The next utility, it's the PDS Admin Tool. The PDS Admin Tool so also has a lot of options, but to keep the focus on the main options here, it's for easier administration. You can see here you can create risk schemas and users, database users directly from here. You can also delete or drop them. You can load risk dump files. You can unload risk dump files. You can easily restore piping files from here, from a DD schema, and you also can edit risk tables from here and do all this administration work in a very easy environment. Another topic here, definitely what is here is the upgrade sections. You know, when you have to upgrade a PDS project from one version to the next version, this process often fails because of missing elements like drawings, like interference files, like area marker files, and so on. And if there is something missing, this tool finds it and also restores it. Framework files, equipment files, piping files, drawings, and so on. And after this process of finding missing elements, restoring the missing elements, you are quite sure that the upgrade process will be successful. Last but not least, the last product I would like to show you, I just show a slide. It's the Icy Overview. It's a utility that draws key plans on ISOs, additional key plans, if this is necessary for a project, out of the hit file of the PDS ISOGen. This utility generates key plans for isometric drawings. It also generates a cover sheet, and besides that, we added here some useful functionalities. A fill node utility is comes along with this product. That means we can update text nodes on drawings, on ISOs from outside very easily. And also a very nice and easy functionality is a DGN find and replace, where we can change text in DGN files directly from Excel. Okay, so this was a very brief, very short overview over all these productivity utilities, and at this point I would like to switch back to Andy.
All right, thank you, Stefan. So hopefully that was clear to everybody. So moving on, let's just talk a little bit about lease options or licensing options. We are suggesting at this stage that leasing is the right way to go, simply because we accept that if you are using PDS today, you may not be using PDS in 1, 2, 3, 4 years' time, whatever it happens to be. So, by going for a lease option, not only does it reduce your upfront cost, but it actually means that when you cease to use PDS, you simply don't renew the lease, and you're not left with a perpetual license that has no value. So that's generally the approach. We have an existing licensing model which is based on sites. So we license a product for a single site for unlimited users. And if you're interested in 1 or 2 products at 1 or 2 locations, this makes perfect sense to go down that track. But what we recognize is that there's a lot of people still wanting to get some value out of PDS and increase the productivity on projects that you are committed to. So when we start thinking about a requirement for 3 or more products at a single site location, we've bundled all of those products together as a single bundle. And we offer that then at an equivalent discount of 60% from the list price. So that makes it very attractive from a pricing point of view. Now, if we extend that further, we came up with a global PDS solutions bundle, which is really ideal for companies that have or are operating 3 or more sites. And you then have, for a fixed annual fee, the ability to have unlimited users at unlimited sites anywhere in the world. And so if we just took it on the basis of 3 sites, that would give you an equivalent discount of 67%. If you increase to 5 sites, it's 80%. So it's a flat fee, irrespective of how many sites you get. The more sites, the better value it becomes. So hopefully, again, that is clear. But if you do have any questions about that, then please feel free to follow up with us at a later stage. So to summarize, Stefan has gone through the PDS productivity. We've looked at spec quality, model replication, clash management, reporting, and then the other utilities like DG Enter PDF, Icy Overview, and PDS Admin Tool. Even based on list purchase prices today, every application delivers a solid and immediate return on investment. So hopefully these new lease bundles not only increase the return on investment, but reduce the cost barrier for widespread deployment and give you the ability to squeeze that maximum productivity out of PDS for the remainder of its use.